What's going on, everybody? This is Rodrigo Fondor with nc'asheville Cash Buyers, bringing you another episode of Whiteboard Wednesday. Today we are talking about buying an as-is condition or selling an as-is condition and what that means. So, Whiteboard Wednesday, episode number 34, we're talking about as-is condition. So, what does it mean when a property is being sold as is, or what does it mean when you're buying it in as is condition? Because a transaction has a buyer and a seller, we're going to talk about as is condition from both perspectives. So they're very similar and there's a lot of overlap, but there's going to be a couple of differentiators, okay? So in essence, what is as is condition? As is condition is when you sell a property in its current state. The way you see it, the way it is, with no representations being made by any party. So you get it as it sits, essentially. As a seller, there's a lot of benefits of selling in as-is condition. You don't have to worry about saying something that's inaccurate about the property or having to worry about any repairs down the road, and you don't have to worry about knowing a lot of your property. So selling in an as-is condition is typically useful or can be a really good fit for you as a seller if it's a property that you've never lived in or it's a property that has a lot of repairs. Those are the two main areas. Third, and this is something if you're working with like an investor, somebody who buys houses like we do professionally or whatnot, buying in as-is conditions is also nice or selling it at as-is condition is also nice because there's an expectation that the house is what it is and the investor or whoever is buying it in that state is taking it they're getting what they get, and they're not expecting you to make any repairs before closing. They're not going to hold your feet to the fire about anything that has to do with the house. As a buyer, the main benefit, if you will, of buying an as-is condition is basically a negotiating tool, right? As a buyer, you'd want the most amount of warranties and guarantees and information possible about a property. If you look at the disclosure statements that accompany a lot of the state contracts, they're 2, 3, multiple pages long, and they give you a really good insight, and they go into detail about what it is that the property, what is the condition of the property, from the age of the roof to the age of the HVAC unit to any other details that the seller knows. They will disclose in those. But if you're buying it in as-is, you get none of that information. As we tell people, hey, we're buying a property in as-is condition we're making our decision on whether to buy it in the condition of the property based on what we see, not based on anything that you're telling us. So that's an as-is sale. Buyer, seller, the property is transferring without any representations or any information really being exchanged hands in that situation, and you kind of get what you get. That being said, I want to make a little bit or maybe a big disclosure here. If, as a seller, you knowingly know something is wrong with the property, that's a major issue, I would encourage you to share that information. Just because you're selling it in as-is condition doesn't mean you should hide information or intentionally not disclose issues with the property. If you know there's something wrong with it, if you know there's something going on with the property, highly suggest or recommend for you to share that with the buyer, even if it's an as-is sale. All right, guys. Once again, Rodrigo Fondor with nc'asheville Cash Buyers. This was episode number 34 of Whiteboard Wednesday. Tune in next week. If you have any questions, just let us know below. Thank you.